Today we are talking psychosomatic.
Yes.
What is that?
When we were
Yes.
born, what were we gifted with? We were gifted with the body and everything that's around us to heal us. We didn't
Yes.
pop out with a holy scripture, with a bunch of tablets. We
Yeah.
didn't come out like that.
Yes.
This body is the intelligence that we need to learn to trust.
Mm.
And we need to build that connection with ourselves. And that's where psychosomatic comes in.
Okay.
Building that connection with yourself.
So if somebody has got a migraine
Yes.
that is not going away,
Yeah.
it could be because of this.
Yes.
Is it always the case, or it's one of the possibilities?
So I'm going to be bold and I'm going to say it's like 90% of the time. If it's on a continuous basis.
Okay. Let's not confuse myself and everyone watching.
Yes.
Let's go back to the chronic.
Yes, the psychosomatic.
Yeah, the psychosomatic
Yes.
illness or disorder or condition.
Yes.
So, if someone has got high blood pressure, we are saying this person has induced this thing on themselves.
Correct.
So, can I then uninduce myself? Can I heal my high blood?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. You see, again, it's something that we were led to believe that now you've got it, you're stuck with it. If you brought it on, you can just reverse it. It's as simple as that. And I know it sounds like far-fetched. Sure, how am I going to do that? And do you know why? Because we have more faith in the illness than in the healing. That's why we stay sick.
Okay.
Because we don't believe, actually, truly, that our bodies are able to heal themselves.
Nebi,
Yes, hi.
how are you checking in? Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. How are you checking in today?
I think I've been mentally preparing for this for a very long time.
Okay.
Where you would like to impart some ideas, and
Yes.
you don't always have a platform.
Mm.
So thank you for inviting me, because I look forward to just giving people a different kind of view on health, a perspective that puts them in the power seat.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I think, to answer your question, I'm excited.
Exciting. We're excited to have you also. Part of the reason why we started this podcast is to actually create that platform for people like you so that you can come and teach us something different, something new.
Yes. Thank you.
Today we are talking psychosomatic.
Yes.
What is that?
So psychosomatic, psycho coming from the mind,
Okay.
soma coming from the body. So it's the mind-body connection.
Okay.
In simple terms, the
Okay.
mind-body connection.
So soma means the body.
Body.
Okay. What is it a language? A different language?
No, it's just terminology.
Okay.
Somatology refers to the body. You know.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. And tell us a bit about yourself. I mean, what got you into this? How do you find yourself, reading or training on psychosomatic?
Okay, so I studied aromatherapy, reflexology, Indian head massage. So that my career started there.
Okay.
When my kids, shortly before my kids were born. I was in London and I visited a friend, and she was studying homeopathy. And I was
Okay.
quite interested in homeopathy, and I'm always intrigued by medicine, but not by the conventional medicine.
Okay.
Because
You're going to have to explain some of these terms.
Yes.
I
Yes.
promise you, we might be agreeing as if we know, but we actually don't know. Okay.
Homeopathy.
Homeopathy. What's
Yes.
that?
So homeopathy is a more, let's say, in tune with your body way of treating an ailment.
Okay.
Where we would look at taking remedies instead of, with orthodox medicine, it's always looking at synthetic stuff.
Okay.
Whereas homeopathy, you use the resonance or the vibration of a particular, let's say, flower or plant. So I'm going to give you an interesting example.
Okay.
Okay, so let's take, there's a remedy called lachesis, which is the venom of a bushmaster snake. Okay.
Okay.
So it's not the actual venom. It is the vibration of the venom, the frequency.
Oh.
So frequencies affect us as well. And that's how you treat the body. So lachesis is the venom of a bushmaster snake. And you'd ask, like, when would we use that particularly?
Okay.
So you'd use it for skin ailments, because when does a snake release its venom? When it's threatened.
Yes.
And the body recognizes that when a person shows any kind of ailment on the skin, like an eczema or psoriasis or something, they feel threatened inside. And they show it through their skin. So in homeopathy, the principle of curing somebody is you use like cures like. So the fear of the snake with the fear of the human, and you put it together.
Okay.
And then it heals you. So it's like two norths of a magnet repel.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. So, for example, a good example is if a person has a drug addiction,
yes,
they give them opium to heal that, because it's two similar problems, and then they repel each other. So it's one of the first principles is like cures like.
Like. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were in London?
And my friend was studying homeopathy. And then I got very intrigued by it, because I always loved medicine and healing. But it was not in the conventional way, because there was just something I didn't resonate with in the conventional way.
Yeah.
And I felt like, no, we have to go back to ourselves. And that started my journey on all of this, because I think we're powerful enough to heal ourselves. When you get a flu, we've been trained in the 19th century, from the early 19th century, to run to a doctor. But
Yes.
whether you go to a doctor or not, or take medication or not, you'll kind of be better in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's the same amount of time. But we just nowadays become fearful of trusting this intelligence. The body has an intelligence. And we don't even know when a germ has come into our bodies or infected us. And your body is already quite aware of it, and it's doing everything to get rid of it.
Yes.
Before you even know. So if we look at also our forms of defenses in what the good Lord has given us, okay, so the tonsils, they're the first line of defense.
Tonsils. Okay.
Because what happens? It swells up, and then it closes the gap so that the quantity of bacteria that is coming in is limited.
Okay.
But unfortunately, swelling is a bit of a painful process, and humans never want to go through pain.
So we take them out.
So we take them out. So there, bye-bye. Your first line of defense is gone. Then another thing is your fever. Fever is, it heats the body up, because bacteria, like pathogens, cannot live in temperatures higher than, say, 37 degrees.
Yes.
So the body raises
the
the temperature to naturally kill it off. Okay. And then again, what do? We take a panado, and then I think, Lord love us. What if, so do you see how we contradicting?
We want to take an ice bath.
Exactly. And the only big fear about the fever is the fact that, the brain you can burn brain cells if it's over a long period of time, so you can damage the brain. And what would they do in the old days? I always go back to that. What would they do in the old days? They would take a wet cloth and put it on their head to keep the
Yes.
head cool. That's why they
Yes.
did that. So the fever will break on its own. The body is intelligent enough to know when the fever is going to. So it raises it for a certain period of time, then it drops it. Then I don't know if you notice, but then it later on you get fever again. So it keeps on assessing, like, okay, let's burn a little bit more, let's try this a little bit more, but it knows what it's doing. But we question it. It's an intelligence. When we were born, what were we gifted with? We were gifted with the body and everything that's around us to heal us. Yes. We didn't pop out with a holy scripture, with a bunch of tablets. We didn't come out like that.
Yes.
This body is the intelligence that we need to learn to trust. And we need to build that connection with ourselves. And that's where psychosomatic comes in.
Okay.
Building that connection with yourself.
With yourself. Very interesting. And it's a foreign language, actually.
Yes.
Not only to me, I'm sure, to everyone who's watching, because I'm thinking. But I do agree, because I'm also having a lot of questions about, conventional medicines.
Yes.
I think the perspective of linear, this, for this problem, you need this.
Yes.
I'm having serious problems about that. So I think this concept is very interesting for us, for me. I don't know it very well.
Yes.
So then you were in London, a friend was studying homeopathy, and then that sort of introduced you into...
Yes. And then I came back to South Africa and I wanted to study homeopathy, but at that stage, they weren't doing bridging courses because I didn't have science.
Okay.
And they said, no, you can't do it. And then I said, well, I'm not happy with that. So I'm going to find a roundabout way to study what I'm so intrigued by. And I found a college in Alberton that was, doing aromatherapy, reflexology, alternative health. It was the SA College of Natural Therapies at the time.
So it's called alternative health.
And alternative medicine. Okay. Yes. Or integrative medicine. Okay. Integrative because it integrates the mind, the body, the spirit.
Yes.
And recently, I've also been, speaking to a lot of people. And a thing that we also need to learn to integrate is the sexual. Because people don't realize that that's a part of you. And I think the reason why... Sexual. Because we mind, body, spirit, okay, but we're also sexual beings. As in, we need to own who we are, be comfortable with who we are. And be comfortable with our sexuality, because a lot of times people want to hide things, or we try to act too proper, and by acting too proper we deny ourselves. And I think that's why there's pedophiles and there's these people, because everything is so suppressed. Whether it's how we speak. A thing that triggers me a lot nowadays is also tone. Human beings, we're so sensitive about everything. I didn't like your tone, so I'm not going to listen to the actual message because I didn't like your tone. Where are we leading with all the psychological stuff? We're giving ourselves more psychological problems because never before in history have there been so many ailments. Either we're just very aware of it nowadays, or people were not so sensitive.
So true. So true. Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting one, because now you spoke about body, mind, body, and spirit, and then you spoke about sexuality. So you say all of these things are, the way to understand them is through psychosomatic.
Somatic, yes.
Okay. Give us more. I'm still lost.
Yes.
I'm still lost. I'm trying to think what questions to ask about this, because it's a new concept. It's something that I don't really know. So is psychosomatic a concept, Or is it a, so what do I say? Do I say psychosomatic, or do I say psychosomatic disorder? Do I say psychosomatic illness? What is it? Like, is it?
Okay, so say if somebody has a flu and they get better in 2 weeks' time,
Yes.
that's the body. Okay. But say if somebody gets the flu and it just doesn't go away for 10 months, that's psychosomatic condition or illness.
Okay.
Because the body's a machine. It's easy. If something goes wrong, you give it something and it gets fixed up. It's like a car.
Mm.
Okay, there are obvious things that you can do, and that's why orthodox medicine works. Because in the past, you get a headache, you take a pain, you take a Panado or something, and then it goes away.
Yes.
Okay, but if it's on a continuous basis, it's not just the body anymore. Because why is it not going away?
Mm.
And that's why when we look at chronic conditions are psychosomatic illnesses. Okay. So if that helps you understand a little better. So my interest when somebody comes to me, I'd say, okay, so how long have you had this? Okay.
Mm.
And when I realize that, then I know, okay, this can be treated in a bodily way, or we need to get into the mind and the emotions. What is the body saying? So I gave the example of a headache.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when we go into psychosomatic, we say that the connection with the mind there or the head is the person is invalidating themselves. They put everybody else before themselves,
Mm.
and then they come in afterwards last, if they're so lucky. So you'll find people who struggle with headaches, those kind of people who tend to think that they are needed, or their role is to see to everybody else and then to see to themselves. So they invalidate their own needs and they put everybody else before them.
So if somebody has got a migraine
Yes.
that is not going away,
Yep.
it could be because of this.
Yes.
Is it always the case, or it's one of the possibilities?
So I'm going to be bold and I'm going to say it's like 90% of the time. If it's on a continuous basis.
Okay.
When we look at integrative, I would definitely include what is going on with your body. How are you eating? Are you having enough water? Are you eating junk food? What times of the day are you eating? So that's looking at the physical perspective. We cannot take that away.
Mm.
But there's a missing part, because should you have taken the pills, it should have got better. But you were not born with a migraine.
Yes.
So it's unnatural. Something you have done, and we say the way you're thinking, has triggered this condition.
Something that I have done.
Mm.
So that would be what? Lack of sleep.
Can be.
So are you saying I'm inducing
Correct.
the
Yes, the condition. We always induce our conditions.
if I've got high blood,
Yes.
it's a chronic condition.
Yes.
Is high blood something that is psychosomatic?
Yes, it's one of the most common psychosomatic disorders.
So I would have induced it via,
Your-
let's say, the type of food that I'm eating.
Yes, to an extent. Maybe you have an unhealthy lifestyle. You're not exercising enough, so you could be overweight. You're not taking care of yourself in the way you should take care of your body. Sleeping enough, eating correctly, exercising. That is the basis of a lot of things from a physical perspective. Most ailments, if we look at them, people are doing something wrong physically. But it's chronic because of your mind. You're continuing the pattern of unhealthy thoughts. So your unhealthy thoughts are inducing this condition. So let's go with high blood pressure.
Yes.
Okay. Now, a child doesn't have high blood pressure. Why not?
because they are still young. They have not ingested a lot of food that is changing the condition of their body.
And what else? Children are carefree. They live carefree, happy lives. What happens to us? We're under pressure. As an adult, you start having pressure in your life. And that pressure starts building up. Now, when we look at the blood, anything to do with the blood, it's about joy in your life. Okay. And the heart is about pumping joy into your life. When you start getting a condition like high blood pressure, you start seeing only the strain in life and you're not seeing the good things that are happening in life anymore. Life is just too much pressure and you can't cope anymore. And you don't know how to release it in healthy ways. So you keep on believing in this toxic cycle that life is just too hectic. Life is not nice. Life is unpleasant. And you start a mantra in your body, an affirmation in your body that I don't like life. It's full of pressure. And when you say certain words, when you say pressure, how do you feel? And when you say pleasure, how do you feel?
Okay.
It induces just those words. Right now, if you say pressure, already it starts invoking something in you. And you say, and stress, and then we're already thinking, oh yeah, I know everything that makes me stress,
Okay.
And it's that thought pattern that ignites this trouble. And instead of like pulling back, because tell me the truth, how many people are positive nowadays?
Yeah, it's difficult to be positive. I mean,
exactly.
We've got so many things that are that we're battling
that are not right. Okay,
yes.
we get irritated by so much in the world, and then eventually, we start as an adult. You just start seeing all the negatives because it's the pressure of earning a living, the pressure of having a family, having a roof over your head, putting food on the table. Those are pressures, and we don't go through it with love and joy. We go through it with strain. It's our perception of it. Because if we wanted to, why don't we rather say, I'm so grateful that I'm healthy enough to wake up and go to a job, that I have a job, that I can put food on the table. I'm so grateful. Because that shifts the whole energy.
Okay.
But we continue on that cycle and we aggravate it over time. We just see things getting worse and worse and worse, and we feel it as worse and worse and worse. We don't see another side to it. So we induce that state because of our thinking and our belief systems. Our belief systems are very dangerous because we convince ourselves that it is like that. Now, what happens in families? Now, this is why we say things become hereditary. We say, oh, but my father had high blood pressure.
Yeah.
Can I tell you what's common? The scary thing is that everybody in that family thinks the same. Everybody processes life the same way in that family. Diabetes is another big one. It's the sugar balance of the body. And people start feeling like there's no sweetness left in their lives. They're longing for something that could have been.
I've got a sweet tooth.
But you don't have diabetes, you see?
No.
Because why? You process life as joyful. You process life as sweet. Life is sweet. When we spoke earlier, you spoke about being excited and learning and lifelong learning. That means you see joy in the world. You see sweetness in the world. So you're not a candidate for diabetes.
Okay, sure. So you say we induce these things on ourselves. Can I grow up in an environment that induces this?
Yes.
So I'm just trying to get, is it something that I'm doing it to myself, or is it something that other people are also doing to me?
Yes, it's you see, for me, that would be the more hereditary thing, is the environment we grow up in that influences how we process life.
Okay.
So the environment is a huge part. It's a study called epigenetics, and epigenetics is your relationship with your environment. Okay. So I'm going to give we're opening up a world of wonder.
I'm hearing these words for the first time. So if someone is at home and is hearing these words for the first time,
Yes.
just know that you're not alone. Okay.
Yeah.
Epigenetics.
Hmm.
So yeah, sure.
It is your relationship with the environment. So, okay, Bruce Lipton, um, I don't know if you're familiar with him.
No.
He's one of the founders of stem cell technology. Okay. And a stem cell is an empty cell that is able to replicate and duplicate any other cell. So, for example, if you put it with muscular tissue, it will mimic muscles. Okay. If you put it with cardiac tissue, it will mimic a heart. So it will develop and mimic the cells that it's put next to.
Okay.
So an experiment that
The copycat.
a copycat, yes, which is very useful in today's world because it can help heal a lot of things. It can replace cells that are defective. Can we call it that? you
Okay.
know, it's used a lot in breast tissue. Or when a woman has a mastectomy after breast cancer, when they remove the breast, they actually plant stem cells there so it regrows the breast instead of having an implant, and with great success.
Okay. Let's not confuse myself and everyone watching.
Yes.
Let's go back to the chronic.
Yes, the psychosomatic.
Yeah, the psychosomatic
Yes.
illness or disorder or condition.
Yes.
So if someone has got high blood pressure, we are saying this person has induced this thing on themselves.
Correct.
So can I then uninduce myself? Can I heal my high blood?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. You see, again, it's something that we were led to believe that now you've got it, you're stuck with it. If you brought it on, you can just reverse it. It's as simple as that. And I know it sounds like far-fetched. Sure, how am I going to do that? And do you know why? Because we have more faith in the illness than in the healing. That's why we stay sick.
Okay.
Because we don't believe, actually, truly, that our bodies are able to heal themselves. We don't think we have that power. And yet the opposite is true. We have all the power to change it. We just don't believe it. We've just been led to believe that only the doctor can make us happy. You're your own doctor. And listen, if there's any doctors listening in on this podcast, there is no problem with medicine. There's no problem with medicine. It's just that we've, as individuals, become so dependent on medicine that we don't think we can cure ourselves. We don't give our bodies the potential and the opportunity to be able to heal. Like I say, if you've got a flu, what's the first thing we do? We want to go and run and grab tablets and do that. You don't want the body to go through its normal process. Why don't we just eat better? Why don't we have garlic and ginger and things that will boost the immune system? No, we want to run for an antibiotic. Okay, we want to run for, say maybe a nasal spray, things to dry up. We'll get a Panado to kill the fever. We always run to things that are outside ourselves. And you know what I don't like about that? We never hold ourselves accountable. Because then we love to blame the doctors. We do. And that's why, shame, the poor doctors serve their purpose. Why? Because we go to a doctor, we get the tablets, and we say, he didn't make us better. My aunt went to a physician, and the physician that day said to her, I bet you before you came here, you had you had a smoke and you ate fast food. And I took her to the appointment and I burst out laughing because I said, that's exactly what she did. I thought, shoot, this doctor is psychic because this physician, she knew. And I started laughing. And she that day, I felt so sorry for her because she said to me, she says, people don't listen to me, and then they blame me when they don't get better. She said, look at that. She does have issues, but she goes and does all the wrong things.
Yeah.
So you go to the doctor, you get the tablets. You
Mhm.
drink the tablets, but you didn't change your lifestyle.
Mm.
You didn't change your bad habits. And then you blame the doctor for the tablets that didn't work. But what did you change? So how can you not change anything and expect the circumstances to change?
Yeah.
You need to be accountable. You need to hold yourself responsible. Like when something happens to you, you sit down and say, what am I doing that's not resonating with my body? I'm making my body ill. What are the things that I'm doing wrong? Start with the body. Am I exercising? Am I eating correctly? What am I doing to make it ill? From a physical perspective.
Mm.
From an emotional perspective, how am I feeling about life? And then from a mental perspective, how am I thinking about life? What am I doing? I am bringing this on.
Mm.
The doctor didn't do it. Nobody did it, not even your parents. Even if somebody upsets you outside of yourself, what are you in charge of? You are in charge of how you interpret it and how you respond. It's always in your hands.
Mm.
Our problem is we don't want to take responsibility.
So you say, I hear you. This is something else. So you say, if I have high blood, I can reverse it.
Yes, correct.
Is there empirical evidence to this?
Yes.
Is there studies that show that someone who's got high blood can reverse it?
Yes.
Using and what's the process? How do I go about it? I mean, there's someone listening right now who's thinking, actually, I've got high blood
Right.
and I want to reverse this.
Yes.
If I can,
Yeah.
where do I start?
So, again, you break it down because what do humans like to do also? We do chunk sizes and then we can never, ever carry something through because we want to go big and then we don't break things down into small, digestible portions. And so I'd say start with your body.
Okay.
How am I eating? Because we know with high blood pressure, a lot has to do, is there too much salt in your diet? Are you exercising enough? Because that high blood pressure will eventually lead to some heart disease. Okay. Because if you ignore a problem, what does the body do? This is a very nice way that it's been said. If you don't listen to the body when it whispers, then you'll have to hear it when it screams.
Okay.
So when your body has the first bit of ailment, it's having a conversation with you. It's saying, listen, Nabby, you did something wrong. You're not thinking right. Something's not right. Pay attention. And then Nabby's not listening. So it has to speak louder. Because when is the only time we stop to look at things? When we are ill.
When you start feeling the pain.
Exactly. Now, this is how the body finds a way to talk to you. Illness is not a punishment. It's your body and your mind having a conversation. But because you are not conscious and not paying attention, what do? We force the body to speak louder.
Okay.
And that's why we have chronic illnesses, because that's how stubborn you are, that you eventually led to this chronic disease because you're just not wanting to listen. And people with high blood, and I'm not saying everybody, but people with high blood pressure tend to be obese. Now, the first kilo you put on, the second kilo, the third kilo, the fourth kilo, when you started getting uncomfortable, are you paying attention? The natural body is lean. So when you start putting on weight, what are you doing wrong? When you are getting obese, your body feels uncomfortable. And please, the people outside who are listening in, if you are obese, this is not an offense. This is a way to start processing yourself. Why do we become obese? We become obese because we want to comfort ourselves. We want to shelter ourselves. So instead of dealing with an emotion that was painful, we eat, we comfort eat
Oh,
until
I
it
see what
gets
you mean.
out of control. So do you see, we bring that on also, the condition
Yeah.
of obesity. Because why? We're suppressing the emotion.
Mm.
We don't want to face that we've been through a horrible trauma.
Yeah.
And then we eat because it's a form of comfort.
And then eventually it leads to
It leads
weight
to
gain.
weight gain. But then your body's talking to you because you'll feel uncomfortable. Maybe your feet will swell because your body is, your feet cannot handle the weight of the
Yes.
body. Okay. And so you need to look at yourself with compassion. Now, when I say this, all these things, you need to be brutally honest with yourself, but you also need to be kind to yourself. So you say, okay, so I've led myself to being obese. Why am I hurt? Why am I not controlling my eating? Is it because something happened to me and I'm suppressing it? I don't want to face facts that people hurt me with their words. So I block it out by eating because eating makes me happy. But different people do different things. So somebody who's in pain can start taking drugs and become a drug addict.
Mm.
You know, people have their different vices. So what is your vice? That's my point, is
Yeah.
that when you have a psychosomatic illness, what is your vice?
What is your vice? So you said I still want us to make it practical with someone with
Yes, high
with a
blood pressure.
So
Okay.
you said the
You look
first
at the
thing is
body.
I don't know. So I'm taking notes from just what you're saying. So one of the things that you mentioned is some sort of a root cause analysis to say
Yes.
what causes. Let's say you've got high blood from eating salty food.
Yes.
So you say what causes me to eat salty food.
Yes. And you can also say, and not necessarily that sometimes our taste buds just like salty food, you know? And that's another big part of obesity because our taste buds like it.
Mm.
And we don't know how to, we have addictive personalities, so we don't know when to stop it.
Mm.
Because I think food is one of the greatest pleasures that we've been blessed with on earth. And we must
Yes.
enjoy it. But we must also know when's enough. We must, everything in moderation. And do you know, with psychosomatic or with anything to do with the body is moderation. It's equilibrium. Because if you go anything too high above the normal blood pressure and anything too low, both are bad.
Mm.
So low blood is bad, high blood is bad.
Mm.
Do you see? The body wants it in balance. It needs to be in the middle. And the only people who can do that is us. We must learn what is moderate. We keep on oscillating between two extremes.
Yeah. Okay.
So back to high blood.
Yes, you spoke about food.
Yeah.
Now I want to reverse this
Yes.
condition.
Yes.
Let's say I start with my root cause.
Yes.
And I'm like, the reason why I eat salty food is because there's an internal gap, that I have. There's a self-image issue or whatever else that is there. What do I do with that? I mean,
So
because
then-
now essentially you mentioned there's an underlying issue now. I was brought up in a family that didn't love me. My parents were abusive of me, and
So then we'll say, okay, so now we're done with the physical side where we said your diet, your exercise,
Okay.
whatever it is.
maybe let's
Yes,
go
let's
there. Let's
step
go
by
back
step.
there. Okay.
Step
You
by
say
step.
so the first part is the physical
Aspect.
Okay.
Yes. You go to the body. You say, okay, what am I? For me, the body is the most obvious thing you go to.
Yes.
Because we can already know what our bad habits are. Are we eating incorrectly? And we know. We know when we're eating badly. We
Yeah.
know. Okay. So you can, like nowadays, everything's available to us on this lovely little Google. Go and Google a healthy diet for a person with high blood pressure. What should I be eating? What should I not be eating? Educate yourself. Don't be
Okay.
lazy. We educate ourselves with silly TikTok videos. Can we educate ourselves with educational TikTok videos? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yes.
Go and
Like
find
this one.
out, like this one, like
Yeah.
why go and find out what is going to support a healthy blood pressure.
Yes.
Find out what is going to support a healthy, stable blood pressure. And eat those foods and exercise, do those things. But now we come to the mind side.
So the physical aspect is the food and the
Your
physical
exercise.
exercise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And then the mind.
Yes. Then the next thing to do is go to the mind.
Okay.
Okay.
What do I do?
So you start asking yourself questions. Now, we don't like to silence ourselves nowadays. That's another thing. We find so many things to keep us busy. We need to watch a video on the phone. We need to do this. We need to do that. But we don't need to connect with ourselves. That's why maybe meditation is good. Yoga, mindful practices. Even coloring those books nowadays, that's a mindful practice where you silence yourself a little bit. You quiet yourself. We don't quiet ourselves. Then the blood pressure gets higher because there's more stress. Do you
Okay.
know?
Yeah.
So from a mind perspective, we need to ask ourselves, how are we thinking?
Okay.
What is my thinking? So we know now that, high blood pressure is understanding that your life is, or perceiving that your life is stressful. Okay? Because why would it go high? Because you're imagining that there's pressure, there's tight pressure.
But is it something that I imagine? I mean, I'm running a business.
Yeah.
And it's month end next week. I need to pay salaries. I need so many hundreds of thousands to
Yes.
pay salaries.
Yes.
And I don't know where that money is gonna come from. So I'm gonna get stressed. I'm not really imagining this problem.
Yes.
It's a problem that is there.
Okay. So that is normal that you have things on your plate. We all have a lot of things on our plate. But how are you processing that? Tell me, is it helpful to stress yourself out when you know every month you're going to have to pay the bills? Shouldn't you put plans into place so that you're not?
But I do, but
Yeah.
it's not always possible to achieve some of these plans that I have.
Okay.
There's always, things happening, during the course of the month.
Yes.
There's a funeral that I just
Had to.
had to pay for.
Yes.
And the money that I thought I'm gonna go and,
use for this, you had to use for something else.
yes.
So,
Yes. She's right. Clients have not paid
yes,
us.
and shame. I mean, that's a huge problem with a lot of
Yeah.
businesses.
Yes.
And now, what I'd like to ask you is, how can you solve that in the future?
I can solve it, but it's not always guaranteed. So maybe my question is, can I really live without stressing? Is it
To a particular point, yes.
okay?
Okay, you can. Because like I say, say you say the clients are not paying. So can you put another method, or can you use another method that is going to help clients help you get paid better? Like maybe do work to a point, like say give people like a service to a point and say you have to pay up at this point, otherwise I don't go further. And then continue, like find creative ways in getting the money. Don't do the full job and then, and then tell them to pay, because then people are likely not to. But when you hold something back, then people will say, okay, I'm not going to get this full thing if I don't pay up. So even then you'll get half the amount of money, or But like silly things like that. I'm saying that that's how you're going to solve your problems. You
Yes.
need to look logically at it from a mind perspective, and you say, okay, I've got these problems. This is my stress every month. Okay, what am I going to do about it?
Yes.
Can I put new plans into place? You be logical about it.
Yes. So all I'm trying to say, and I get what you're saying, but what I'm just trying to say is, even if I solve that problem, there's gonna be another one.
Yes.
So I'm essentially saying how I see it is, in life we are always going to have problems to solve.
Yeah.
We are always going to have challenges to overcome, and it's obvious we'll overcome them via systems and processes that we are implementing as we come across these challenges.
Yes.
But it's not, is it something that I can really get rid of? Or are you saying I need to now reframe my mind to say, this is how I need to deal with these things
That's exactly
better?
it. You need to reframe your mind, because exactly what you say, this world is not stress-free.
Yes.
It's not stress-free. There's always going to be stresses all around you. There are things that happen all of a sudden. Your kid is playing cricket and then the school phones you and say, oh, he's fractured his arm. Or, things happen. Life is busy happening. But are you going to react to every single stressor? You have to, we process it. The person with high blood pressure will process it like, oh my God, well, this is happening again. Or do you take a step back and you say, okay, this is happening. How do I deal with this now? It's how you're going to speak to yourself. You get a lot of people who will, the first thing is like, oh my God, why does this keep on happening to me? Why must I experience this? You always go into that kind of effect, into victim mentality. Poor me. Okay, and that keeps you looped in a cycle where you can't get out. Yeah, I've got bad luck. I know a lot of people have said that. I've got bad luck, or people have eyes on me. They've done something to me. Because why? And why do we use those excuses?
Yeah.
Because those excuses serve us. There is a payoff in those excuses, because now it's not my fault anymore. It's somebody else's. Somebody else did it to me.
Yeah.
And this is where psychosomatic comes in. You start taking responsibility for you. Nobody can have power over you besides you. You have power over your body. You have power over your thoughts. You are in charge. And your bad attitude got you to that point. If you reverse that, you will get better.
Okay. Yeah. My bad attitude got me to that
point. Yes.
Yeah.
And we don't even realize we have a bad attitude. We don't even realize that.
And yes, that was going to be my point, to say, I mean, a lot of us don't even realize that we carry victimhood with us. And it's a lot of things that really drive that that behavior.
Yes.
I mean, it's an upbringing.
Yes.
And sometimes, like you're saying, you don't see it until somebody says, but this is victimhood.
Yes. So how you can figure this out is, say when something happens to you, you train yourself out of saying, poor me, why is this happening to me? And you shift the thought to, how is this happening for me? Because an enlightened person always sees an opportunity in a crisis. Because tell me, when do people come up with major brainwave ideas like, wow, mind-boggling, when they're pushed into a corner and they have to get creative? That's when people have new ideas. So when you're pushed into a corner, don't feel the stress of the corner. Take a step back, be the observer, and say, what's happening now? How is this happening for me? What is the opportunity that I need to see here? By changing that, you already start relaxing yourself. Because feel again, how does it feel to say, this is happening to me again? And then what happens? A flood of memories come back to tell you what a poor victim you are. Because this one did that to me, that one did that to me, that one did that to me. Then you stay a victim. And then by that thought pattern, you raise your blood pressure. Because all those things start constricting you. You physically get constricted. You are doing it to yourself. Nobody asked you to have your thoughts. You chose those thoughts. So if you choose to, next time you want to say, why is this happening to me? Stop, be the observer, say, okay, what's going on now at this moment in time? Like you kind of get out of the situation and you say, okay, let's think of this. How is this happening for me? And when you can't answer that question, start thinking, but how many things are going well for me? So many things are good in my life. I've got healthy children. I've got parents who love me. I've got a wife who's doting. Look at the positive. Always bring that back. Because you know what we do as humans? Say if we have an altercation with a colleague at work.
Yes.
And you go home and your wife says, honey, how was your day? What does the person say? I had a shit day. Okay. And how true is that? Did the altercation last 24 hours?
No.
It lasted.
It's an outlier though.
Exactly.
It's something that doesn't happen every day. So it's the first thing that I'll go to and talk about.
Okay. But do you see our self-talk? And the information we pass over to people. So what you could say is, you know, honey, my day was really great. Although I did have an altercation with this person, and it did create strain in my day.
Okay.
But the truth is, did it happen the whole day? Was the whole day shit? Do you know? So we need to get that talk right,
Yeah.
and reality
framing
right.
The framing of
yes,
concepts or
exactly
perceptions.
Because this is where you come in, in your own healing process. Because is the reality that you had a whole bad day, 24 hours? Or is the reality that you had a bad 15 minutes that you're milking now for days? Now you're going to be angry with the person. Now look what you've done. Here's high blood pressure again. Now you're angry at the person, okay? And you're harboring that emotion because you're not processing it. You, instead of saying, okay, like that evening you come home and you speak to your wife and you say, this happened. Maybe give me perspective. Is there another way I should be looking at this? What the person said to me today, was it the truth? If it was the truth, then you need to take cognizance of that and fix it up. If it wasn't the truth, then you say, no, that's bullshit. I don't need to pay attention to it and just brush it aside. Yeah. But we let it brew in us. We don't process it. And not processing it gives us high blood pressure. So every time we see that person, they will trigger for high blood pressure.
Yeah. I just wanted to make mention of something also. I think the other reason why, besides me having that altercation, it being an outlier, I think sometimes there's also benefits for me. When I get home and I tell my wife, I had, this altercation and I'm so sad, she fixes me a nice lunch,
Yes.
She comforts me to bed.
Vuyani, you're saying a brilliant thing now, because precisely there are payoffs. The only reason why we stay ill is because there's some kind of payoff. It's attention seeking. I get a lovely treatment. I wish I could have more shit days. So, do you know?
Yeah, that's true. So, but then how do I mean, because I'm thinking I will not want to lose that benefit.
Yes.
Still want to keep the benefit, Anna.
So why don't you just say, honey, do you know, I like it when you do this for me. I feel nurtured. I feel loved. Do you know, when it builds relationships in your wife, most times we just don't know what the other person wants. So if you tell your wife, honey, I like it when you do this. It makes me happy. It makes me feel closer to you. Your wife is likely going to do that more. But our communication is terrible. So we'd rather milk our health so we get a payoff instead of just communicating properly and saying, I like it. Please do this more. You know, we need to just be more real.
Okay. All right.
And honest.
Okay. So let's I just want to go back to the mind. I know we're still talking about the mind. So the thinking, how am I thinking?
Yeah.
Take responsibility.
Yeah.
Always bring a positive, frame to
Yes.
things. Is there anything that I need to do now? I'm getting rid of high blood pressure.
Right. The next thing you need to go to is your emotions.
Emotions.
How does it make me feel?
Okay.
Right. So now you know what you're thinking. That is wrong. Now you're saying, okay, but how does it make me feel? How am I feeling? How do I feel about a person? How do I feel about a situation? Sit with yourself and say, how did it make me feel when I had that altercation with that colleague? How did it make me feel?
Okay.
Okay. So you start getting to, okay, I felt worthless or unworthy. Now that will take you on a rabbit hole down to your childhood, perhaps.
Okay.
Okay, because then when did you feel unworthy? You need to start asking yourself, why did I not like that feeling? Because maybe that colleague was, treating you the way your father treated you, like you're an idiot, like you don't know something. So it was a trigger because you didn't resolve, it's an unresolved issue from your childhood. And not necessarily everything comes from your childhood, but a lot comes from the formative years, our feelings of worthiness,
Yes.
Did the person demean you in a way that you relate to you relate to, or you get triggered by, and you've suppressed the feeling all these years, and this person then triggers it. But every time you get triggered with the unworthiness, it's actually a wound from your childhood that you need to heal.
Okay.
And so it's not actually because as an adult, we have power to stand up for ourselves. But we felt disempowered when we were children because we couldn't do it for ourselves. So now we hold that because that 5-year-old you didn't understand that you could have a healthy, and was powerless to have a healthy conversation with somebody. So you get into conflict when you're an adult because you didn't. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example. Okay, now this little girl is waiting for her dad to come home from work.
Yes.
And she knows that when daddy comes home from work, he's going to pick her up and hug her and twirl her around. And in her head, this whole thing is going to be perfect. Okay. She imagines something and it happens and the whole circuit is closed. But now daddy comes home from work and he's on the phone with his boss who's cucking him out about something. Okay. And now he's stressed. But what does he do? He sees the little girl. He might even smile at her. But he's like, I'll speak to you just now. I have to take this call. Now, her circuit is not closed.
Yeah.
She was expecting him to hug her and he didn't. So now maybe she feels rejected because he just brushes her aside and he needs to take this call.
Yes.
Okay. So what happens to her? She feels she feels shut off or shut down or, rejected.
Yes.
And somewhere on her body, she feels it. So it could have been, say, maybe in her solar plexus, where her stomach started feeling like, I don't like this, or her heart was sore, or she had some kind of pain somewhere in her body at that moment in time.
Okay.
And this is something we all need to pay attention to. When something is happening that is negative in our lives, where on your body are you feeling it? Because that becomes your weak point. Then, so say she felt it in her stomach. This funny knot in her stomach because he rejected her. Okay. Then, next time somebody rejects her or seemingly rejects her, she's going to have a knot again in that same place. And it keeps on building up in that place. And we keep on taking a knock in that area. That becomes your susceptibility. So likely the person might have a digestive disorder when they're older.
Okay.
Okay. But now let's analyze this whole situation. Do you think the dad was being bad?
No.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't.
Because what understands it? The adult you understands that. The adult you understands that that poor guy, Shane Peace, he's coming back from work. I can only imagine the pressure he was under.
Going through,
okay.
Yes.
And why is he working? So that he can look after the little girl.
Yes.
Also, do you know? So as an adult, you understand the dynamics. But as a child, you don't.
You don't.
But that wound was created in childhood. So our diseases and disorders are also as a result of not integrating the 5-year-old you with the 25-year-old you. Understanding that, you know what, I didn't understand better back then. That wound is understandable. I can understand why my dad had to do that, because today I'd probably do the same thing.
Yes.
So you need to integrate that information. Go back and think, make peace. Make peace with yourself. Forgive yourself. Forgive your dad for doing that to you, because now in your head, that situation is a lot worse than it really was.
So now if I'm 25 and I'm having, a chest pain every time I get disappointed, how am I going to link the chest pain to an incident of a bully when I was 3 or when I was 5 years old? I mean, are we capable of knowing where the pain originated from?
Yes, you are. But it will take some digging.
Okay.
So you can go to a psychologist, you can do a hypnotherapy session, you can do a process called the journey. There are many ways that you can do it and go back into in time to try and figure out where is it possibly coming from. You know.
Okay.
But what you also need to understand is that when we experiencing some kind of discomfort in the body, like say now you felt that rejection or the unworthiness or whatever this girl felt, we need to understand when somebody is igniting that feeling in us again, we need to stop and we need to say, okay, why am I feeling rejected? Why am I feeling unworthy? Am I really unworthy? Because that's your trigger. We don't see logic and we go into effect, because humans, that's our nature. Yes. When somebody says something we don't like, we just attack back. We don't stop. The reasonable thing to do is to stop and say, what am I feeling? Now, there's a guy named Eckhart Tolle. He writes a book, The Power of Now. And he says, when we're experiencing something, any kind of emotion, a human likes to suppress it. So sometimes you'll say, no, I'm not feeling unworthy, which is a lie, obviously. But now we need to tell ourselves or speak to ourselves in a kind way, in a loving way. Okay, why am I feeling like this? I'm feeling unworthy. The word is unworthy. So unworthiness, so you've come to visit me. What is your message?
Okay.
Or anger. So you've come to visit me. What is your message? Happiness, you've come to visit me. What is your message? Sadness, you've returned. Lovely. What is your message? And all of this sounds ridiculous to people sometimes. But this is why we're out of touch with ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we're not talking to ourselves. We're not processing anything. Then we expect the body to deal with all the pressure that we're putting on it, with all this toxic emotions, and then we expect a different result. We're not delving into, why am I feeling like this? Can I tell you, it's the most exciting journey to learn to know yourself. It's the best journey, adventure that you can ever experience. But we're too scared to do that nowadays. Why don't we do it? Are we afraid that we're not going to be good enough? Because the fact that you are living says you're good enough, you're worthy enough. The good Lord would not have put you here if you weren't worthy, if you didn't have some kind of mission on earth.
Yes.
which is what we need to remind ourselves about. I'm worthy enough. I'm alive. And we need to be joyous about life. But what do? We pay attention to the blood pressure and all the strain in life, and we don't try to seek out the adventure. How can I be adventurous? How can I have fun? How can I create more joy in my life? No, we sit there like dead ducks and victims. Life is just so crap. Poor me. Ta-da, problem solved. No, problem not solved. Because what can I do about it? How can I change the situation? We're lazy. We're lazy. And like you said earlier on, there's some payoff. That's why we're lazy. And it's too nice to blame somebody else, the doctor's medicine, the this. It's that colleague who's so rude. It's that one stone. No, that's all. I'll tell you straight, it's all bullshit. Start taking accountability for you. Sit with yourself, understand yourself. Because you know what? That's the person you're going to be with your whole life is you.
Yeah.
You're stuck with you.
You're stuck with
So
yourself.
you might as well start liking yourself and knowing yourself. Why don't we become our own best friends? Why
Yeah.
don't we?
It's a bit difficult. On issues of upbringing, I've got 3 boys,
Yes.
and these guys they fight with each other.
Yeah.
Can they create this trauma, from each other?
Yes. They can.
So essentially, there's no escaping of this trauma,
Trauma.
to our body, like our
No.
mind.
No.
It's coming. It's
coming.
inevitable.
It's lessons that need to be learned and how we approach it. Are you familiar with Gabor Mate?
No.
No. He's a very interesting doctor, and he covers a lot of these, mindsets and how we trauma-related childhood traumas and trauma-related illnesses.
Please say his name again.
Gabor Mate.
Gabor Mate.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll send you some info on him. He's really brilliant. But he says, somebody asked him, why is it that my sister and I are so different? We grew up in the same home. We had the same parents. The same message was delivered to us. How come we are so different? And he said, because you didn't have the same parents. Because you didn't have the same upbringing and you didn't live in the same house. So everybody's thinking like, okay, that's damn ridiculous. How is that even possible?
Yeah.
But he said something very interesting. When the parents had the first child, what were their circumstances? They were young. They perhaps just got married, quickly had a baby. Their financial situation was different. They were coping with life in a different way. Okay, so their response to their child, the first child, is different. Because the first child, and we have to all admit as first-time parents, we don't have a cooking clue what we're doing with the first one, okay? Because we're stressed. We're like, oh, I don't know what to do with this baby. We go into that mode. What will we do with this child? If the child goes, you there, So you smother the child, but then at the same time, you're hard on the child, and then second child comes, you're more relaxed. You know what to do. Now the child cries, you leave it for a little bit longer. You don't, when it goes, don't go run, And then maybe your financial situation has improved. Now you have a house. You're not renting anymore. And then the third child comes, maybe there's strain in the marriage. And then the third child experiences a different kind of set of circumstances.
Yes.
So do you see, every child is born into a different person because we're not the same people we were yesterday.
Yes.
So our parents won't be either. But let's just say hypothetically speaking, even if it was exactly the way we say the parents were exactly the same all the time, the way the child processes life will still be different. So you'll still be a different parent. You need to understand that individual child. That one child will process life in a stressful way. The other child will laugh about it. I mean, with my kids, my son, would hit him, but he'll take it. He'll be stronger. My daughter, I just put the wooden spoon on the table and she's chunking. And I'm like, but I didn't even hit you yet. Do you know?
Yeah.
So every person processes life differently. So those boys fighting with one another, the one might take it, you know what? We just battling it out. The other one will be like, my brother always wins. There we start the victim mentality.
Yeah.
I can't do anything right. I can't even beat him up properly. you know. So
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that also, being a bully, the universe has certain set of dynamics. Why is there a bully and a victim? Because there's no balance in their lives, not in the bully's life, not in the victim's life. The victim is mollycoddled at home, and everybody is like, oh, sweet baby, shame, shame, shame. So he invites the experience of a bully to make him stronger. Okay. So I know it sounds like a weird dynamic, but that's how it plays out. That's how energy works and frequency works. You attract the opposite so that it puts you in balance. So don't be too gentle with your kids. Give them reality straight. Don't always protect, because now as parents, what do we want to do? Protect our kid from the outside world. Good plan, because then they have to go out in the outside world and love. Do you see how silly it is?
Yeah.
You need to give the kid a balanced perspective of life. Also, for that matter, parents fighting in the house. What do we do in modern times? We say, no, you mustn't fight in front of the kids. You know what you're doing? You're giving a child an unbalanced perspective of what marriage is. Because if they see you arguing, now it's better not to be donnering mekaar. That's also toxic. Yeah. But say in a healthy way, you and your wife are having an argument about something, and in front of the kids, but then they see that you solve the problem. That's healthy, because the child will know there can be conflict and there can be conflict resolution.
Yes. And it can still be a happy home.
And it can still be a happy home. Because what do we know about any two people living together? There's gonna be some conflict and discomfort.
Yes.
There will be. And unrest. There will be that. We cannot run away from that, but there's a healthy way of dealing with it. That's what you're showing your child. When you don't do that, it becomes a disaster.
Okay. All right. I'm looking at the time and I don't know if run out of time. We spoke about the physical aspect. We spoke about the mind. We spoke about the emotions. Is there any other thing that we need to look at? Remember, we're still healing the high blood.
Yes. Yes, we keep on going back to high blood. Yes, but that's it.
Those are the three.
Those are the three aspects that you will look at. So when we're doing integrative medicine, is what I have studied, integrative medicine. You always look at every aspect. You don't just say, oh, you've got high blood pressure, here's a pill, cheers. That's not what you do. You're like, okay, how is your thinking? What are you feeling? Where is that feeling coming from? When you solve all of that and you have no longer any attachment to anything, you become healthy, because there is no problem then. Nothing's stuck in your body.
Okay.
It's the stuck emotion, the unhealthy thought, and the bad physical habits, like your eating habits, and that create the disease.
Okay.
And it's not a disease, it's a dis-ease. That's where the word comes from. Okay. And we say disease, but your body's just saying, I'm not easy. So I mean dis-ease.
Okay. Is this process something that I can, navigate myself out of, now the high blood, Yes. I'm just saying high blood.
Yes.
It could be, is it something that I can do by myself, or it's something that I need someone who specializes in, let's say, psychosomatic to sort of help me navigate through the process of, or maybe the question should be, you said there is empirical studies that were done. Those studies, the people that got healed,
yes,
How did they get healed? How did
Yes.
was there someone guiding them into the healing, or they just figured it out? How was that process?
So healing is a journey to start off with, okay? And everybody's journeys will be different. Although, say, two people are treating themselves with high blood pressure and they want to get rid of it, they will go on different journeys. They might even go to the same people for a bit and overlap with the same people, but their journeys will take them in different directions. One may start doing yoga, for example, as an exercise, and the other one says, no, I like Pilates better. So you see, so there are so many options. So I'm going to just bring in another aspect when it comes to integrative medicine that we call quantum.
Quantum. Okay.
Quantum, the quantum healing. So quantum healing says that there's an unlimited number of ways to heal yourself.
Okay.
Unlimited. So, we go to a doctor and he says that, listen, I can't help you anymore. How do people react? People say, oh my God, I'm going to die. Then they just get ready to lay down and die. No, that's just one method that is not resonating with your body. Now your journey must begin. That adventure must begin. Who do I seek out? I'll go to people like a homeopath who's going to treat the frequency of your body, who has the same mindset that I need to treat you mind, body, spirit, who understands that idea, you can go to a normal GP, but then don't just stop there. You're only treating the body side of it. Then go to a psychologist should you want to, or start doing exactly what you were telling me you guys are doing, like, you going and you learning more about things. Go and Google stuff, find out things. There's so many meditations that you can YouTube. You can go and find out things. Google blood pressure. What is a natural way to help your blood pressure? Start doing research on how you can heal yourself. And that will start the journey. And trust me, your journey will never stop, because I loved what you said earlier about, you said we do things in a linear fashion.
Yeah.
In healing, you know what we say? Nothing is linear. It's a spiral. Healing is a spiral. It keeps on coming back to the same thing over and over again, but with a deeper truth. And so we need to peel ourselves like the layers of an onion. So now you solve the high blood pressure problem, but something else crops up.
Yeah.
And then you say, I didn't know this about myself, but let me delve deeper into this issue. So the blood pressure was the set of circumstances, but now I also realize that I'm resentful. I'm, where's that coming from? Where's the next thing coming from? So it leads you, like I said, it becomes a rabbit hole, and you're an onion. So you peel layers and layers and layers till you get to the core.
Okay.
But it's exciting.
Yeah. No. It's very interesting. I noticed now that last week we had Coach Tandy, and she was talking about work-life balance, and she gave us 4 aspects.
Yes.
The same 3 that you mentioned, but she also had a spiritual element to it.
Yes.
So what is your perspective in as far as integrated medicine or psychosomatic is concerned, in as far as, the spiritual aspect of our life is concerned?
I think for me, it is imperative that spiritually, who you are and who you connected to. Where do you get your comfort from? Do you think it's God, it's the universe, it's nature? Because every group of people think it's different. We do it in a collective fashion. But I think it's also very important in an individual way. How do I connect with God? Not, hey, everybody must go to the church and this and that. When I am talking to the Lord, how do I connect with him? How does he speak to me? How do I interpret him? Do I see him as a God of forgiveness? Do I see him as a God of punishment? How am I perceiving God? Because I believe God comes to you the way you perceive him. So if you see him as a loving God, he'll come to you as a loving God. If you see him as a Lord of retribution, then that's what he'll do. You know, so spiritually, I think to find peace in your life, what do you do? How do you connect? Some people may go to a mosque or church. Other people may sit on a patch of grass and hug a tree and feel connected to God.
Yeah.
What do you choose to do? Know yourself. When is the time when you feel a oneness with everybody around you? When? Explore that. Don't think because it's popular belief to go to the church or to a mosque or to a synagogue that that's the only way. No, know yourself. There's a reason why, in the Bible, it's know thyself. It's not just know yourself in one aspect, in every aspect. Like I told you, and thank you for bringing up the spiritual as well, because, it's mind, body, spirit, which is that spirituality side, the mental side, and like I said, the sexual side. So I'd say there's 5 things you always look at.
5.
But for everybody, they link up things and then they don't put it like that. But for me, it would be those 5.
It would be 5. In a few words, as we wrap up, please say something about the sexual element of it. I don't think we touched on it, but we did not really say much about it. So why maybe my question would be, why are you separating that from the physical? Why is it not a physical aspect?
Okay, because I think it's a completely different mindset. When we look at just, if we say masculine and feminine,
yes,
there's already a separation. Do you understand? And because a male behaves differently, a female behaves differently. But what happens to a single mother? She has to be a man and a woman. Okay, she has to play both sides of it. So she loses her sexuality in that she has to act like a man, because what is a masculine trait? Go to work, be strong, be doing this, be doing that.
Yes.
And then she loses her femininity, and then another man comes in and is interested in her, but there can't be 2 men in a relationship, so he loses interest because now
there's 2 bulls.
And that's not going to work.
Yeah.
But she doesn't have permission because she doesn't feel safe, so she loses that feminine side of herself. But also to just embrace that I'm a woman. This is my sexuality. I have these powers as a woman, to embrace who I am, to be loving, to be nurturing. That's who I am. Because in today's world, we lose that.
Yes.
And a man, what's happening to men? They become emasculated because they think the women are too strong and overpowering and they can't do this and they can't say this because then the woman will take offense. So nobody knows where they are. And as much as there's a separate male and a female within us, there also lies that balance of masculinity and femininity.
Yes.
So to understand that properly, sexuality is not the idea of having sex. That's not it.
Yes.
It's understanding me as a woman. What am I doing? Me as a man. What am I? Who am I? And then integrate it again. Because again, the balance, that oscillation between chauvinism and feminism, it's not working, guys. We need to bring it to the center, because as long as we have the 2 extremes, there's never going to be balance. So first within yourself, and then on the outside. Because when you're in balance with your masculine and feminine on the inside, you allow the masculine and feminine to be free on the outside.
Nebi, thank you very much. It has been such an informative session.
You're welcome.
I'm glad you agreed to come and sit with us today. I am honestly hoping that you can become a friend of this podcast. I'm sure there's a lot more that you want to teach us on. I'm learning. I've taken 2 pages of notes. I feel like I was in a lecture room. But
Sorry.
No, in a good way. Not in a way that stresses me.
No high blood pressure.
No high blood pressure. Nothing like that. But I think one of the things that I want to ask, especially people that are going to be watching this, is please engage. Let us know what is it that you want to know. Ask questions. This is a concept that is new to me as it is new to you.
Yes.
So ask those questions, engage on this, and so that we can get Nebi back on this platform again.
Yes.
But I really appreciate your time. Where do we find you? That's very important.
Okay, so
Thank you.
people can message me if they like. I am in Valpark, and I practice from there, from my house in Valpark. My number is 082 264 8351. So if people would like to message me, I don't answer phones all the time because as I'm busy, then I switch off the phone. But you can WhatsApp me. And when I read the messages, I usually set aside time at night where I answer people's messages. And then if people would like an appointment, then they can come and see me.
Oh, nice one. Okay.
But I'm based in Valpark.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nebi. Loads of learning again. And we love you in this podcast. And we hope to
Thank you.
have you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.